Welcome. This is the group talk behind the mic. We are the Pantry Group, rooted, resilient, and reaching upward through the challenges of communication, one by one, by Dr. Green. I am Ani. I'm studying communication studies. I'm a freshman, and a fun fact, I'm a student parent with two toddlers handling the studies. And today I'm joined by April.
Hi, I'm April. I'm a freshman in college. My major is sociology to become a speech therapist. And one fun thing about me is I'm a big Disney fan. I'm joined by Tessa.
Hi, my name is Tessa, and my major is going to be counseling. And I have three kids technically, and I'm a busy mom. Not with operating vehicles, it's kind of hard, but I'm an expert at the bus routes now.
Yeah, Michelle.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm a high school student. I'm a sophomore, and I would like to be a psychology. And one fun fact about me is that I love to swim, and I love sushi.
And David.
Hi, my name is David. This is my second year in college, and my major is kinesiology. And the fun fact about me is I've been playing football since I was 6 years old.
This podcast is our final reflection and behind the scenes of 5 students coming together in a summer short class to overcome differences and build a real team.
Let's kick it off with one word that describes the feelings we felt during this course. The word I picked is organized. April.
The word I pick is committed.
Michelle.
The word I was ready.
David.
The word I picked is nerve-wracking.
And Annie.
The word I picked is hopeful. Hopeful because I was full of hope for the week one, and it started with uncertainty. It was our first time doing online group work, and I reached out to the professor Green for guidance. That reassurance helped me to learn, and then I started to get in contact with the team members.
As soon as our group got assigned, Annie went ahead and created a campus inbox thread to start organizing us. That first step showed that she was committed and set the tone to be the lead or leader in our group.
I remember after the second meeting, I took a moment to reflect on everyone's energy and strength. Michelle, you brought so much positivity and enthusiasm, even though I knew you were juggling classes, swimming, and full of play. Tessa, I really felt that you were the group's heartbeat, always punctual and on the top of things. And I noticed April, you had this gift of turning chaos into clarity, organizing our thoughts and helping us stay grounded. As for David, our quiet but at the same time so supportive, I noticed right away that when we ask you directly, you respond this, and you are very open-hearted and always there for everyone. I wanted to make sure no one felt left out, and that meant turning it into everyone's space.
I appreciate that no one judged me for being quiet, and I always made space for me.
That's what inclusive communication really is. This week we talked about how listening actively, really turning into each other's tone, body language, even silence, makes a difference. It's not just about taking turns talking. It's about building a bridge between ideas, noticing what's spoken, what's unspoken, what's spoken, and leaving space for quieter voices to rise. I think that's when I started to feel like we weren't just classmates. We were becoming a team. I am a very stubborn person, but in this group, I sensed the abilities of my walls being brought down with little to no effort, to be honest. The safe space definitely developed in my head, so I would assume it would have been in others as well. Luckily for us, though, I didn't really see any necessary, complaints or concerns of how one person was, doing too much and the other person wasn't doing enough. Yes, the starting week is always a little bit of a crazy thing because we're barely getting to know each other and all these things. I didn't feel that we needed to really use terms that we learned this week, like with the whole balcony, taking that step outside and kind of getting redirected back into the main topic. And I didn't really think that we needed that extra third party. You know how they have that neutral party where it's like, okay, this person's going to be the neutral person and say, hey, no, you're not listening to X, Y, and Z reason. So, I felt like that was already a lucky strength in our group.
Oh, exactly. I agree. We started practicing on this week also value adding responses, which was a really interesting thing to do. And just not saying I agree, but actually expanding, connecting, and offering a different view to each other. And that was really great. I remember reading someone's post and thinking, that's interesting, but what if we also do this, this, this? And then the conversation would keep evolving. That made our discussion deeper and meaningful.
It's funny how these little shifts made a big difference in our group and our conversations. Instead of just completing our assignments or turning things in, we were learning how to respond and communicate, not just act. And something I will never forget from this week's reading is that empathy is our superpower or a superpower. It really is. The moment we stop assuming and we start asking, listening, considering, that's when real collaboration begins.
Oh, yes, April, I agree. It was an interesting week. And then the third week continued after the second one. And honestly, it felt like everything began to click. Our communication improved and we started functioning like a real team. And in my journal, I wrote it, yoo-hoo, we did it. We opened a shared collaboration document where everyone could add their thoughts. We also held our Zoom meetings and worked together on the group project breakdown case that Professor provided. There was a shift in the way we interacted. I felt that. And yeah, it felt like we were beginning to understand each other and finding out our styles of work, and things become more natural, right? What do you think?
I think that a collaboration document really helped us get organized, even just get comfortable too. I jumped in and helped situate the ideas and bring together everyone's input. It felt really good to take initiative and collaborate in ways that supported the group's rhythm.
In my case, I would say I tried my best to keep things moving. Again, online work was really hard to balance out. Always dealing with people in person was really something I always did, right? So I don't really know how to navigate so much on the online or just communication through electronics or anything like that. I did kind of double check the timeline, I will be honest. I reminded the groups of a lot of tasks just because I was kind of not remembering a lot of things. So maybe that kind of brought into some things that maybe other people maybe forgot too. So I would see that could be like something that I did help with. I did try to make sure that all the tools that we were using were working, even though Annie, man, you're really good at all that Zoom stuff. So you really did help me get back on track with that. But I realized how small and important those things are. And, behind the scenes, when we have effort with like pauses and breaks and re-recordings and all that stuff, it really makes the full flow of the group feel the energy that we give to each assignment, right? I do feel that with my communication with the professors, it could have been a teeny bit better, but hey, I was reaching out to her a few times to kind of clarify some, confirmations, I guess, for the assignments that we had. But I definitely think we managed very exceptionally, even though we're all busy people.
I was the timekeeper during the Zoom call. I'm still shy, but everybody was still patient.
I was dealing with a tough week, to be honest. School, personal things. I feel really pressured by all of that, and I also feel pressured for being judged. But the group, they check in with me and supported me quietly without making me feel like bad, I guess. And that kind of empathy really gave me the strength that I needed in order to manage and finish and submit my assignments before the deadline.
Oh, that was this week is it was something I think. It was where I saw our group values came to life, I would say. Empathy, flexibility, accountability, and respectful leadership showed up. And Tessa, yeah, I agree. I think everyone has a busy life, but I think we managed to understand each other fluently, to come with ideas how we can deal the challenges that we were facing. And it was about being there for one another, and it means so much, I think. So, yeah.
It reminded me of what we learned in class about emotional safety and trust. When people feel safe in a group or in a conversation, they are more willing to take risks like being honest or even doing their best job.
We'll start off with week number 4. So in week number 4, we were given a short tale story about a powerful, I guess, meaning behind the words, right? So in between the line reading. And it was about a young princess who felt neglected by her husband, and she ran off with a vagabond. And he basically wooed her, I guess in a sense gaslit her and all this stuff, right? Use the common words now in mental health, hey? And she got abandoned by him after kind of falling for it at her weakest point. And so we had a discussion about the rejection part from what the princess experienced from the vagabond, rejection from her own feelings, rejection from the other 2 people that she asked for help in this short story. She basically died alone, so that's already a really deep impalement in the mental health field, right? So when there's no one to help us, when there's no one to reach out to us, when we are abandoned on the side of the road after making choices that are very poor, we start to succumb to failures in our life, which is why it's so important to reach out to specific mental health professionals and everything like that. Basically, the story is challenging for the emotion part and for the intellectual part, because emotionally she was unaware of the definitions that she was feeling, unaware why she was feeling such ways, ignored them, so she didn't have the intellectual ability to kind of put them in perspective of hey, dear husband of mine, I'm having this type of feeling, yada yada yada. And it became a very, I think probably one of the group's most collaborative and most powerful, commentary, study, discussion thing, because I think everybody in the group could relate to this happening to them, right? And a lot of the people in the group would kind of agree that the princess was kind of the one who was most at fault, right? And of course, other opinions were like, who do we rate who the most and who had the least, face effect of her life and her failure. Anything to deal with, the human psyche is a very touchy subject. It does take a lot of patience. It does take a lot of energy to put into perspective, especially if there's no agreement. So 2 people can disagree strongly, and that person could be the victim of all these things that are happening to them. So if we had brought the princess in for, an interview or something, she would have unvalidated her own feelings, and I could relate to that in my personal life, my professional life. I conceive it as a positive thing, though, because it teaches us to be more conscious. It teaches us to not be scared. It teaches us to have a safe environment to reach a comfortability to discuss things. And this group is a good example of that. And we even had to choose, multiple, awards to give to these individuals in the short story, right? So we did end up picking 2 candidates for one of the awards, but we still managed to agree with, one for the most part. And definitely life experiences are really what really affects outcomes of everything. And as a counselor, when I want to go into that field, I'm hoping to make that impact to the 0.00001%.
I agree. I am sure you will do that, Tessa. And I agree that this assignment was really one of the those assignments that we did all together. April took the lead that week to create a document because it was her responsibility and she knew that to do and she did it. I really like how we started to organize. I really think that we kept on the lectures as well the professor provided, and we try to use this 1, 2, 4 all method in our discussions, which helped us break down each character's responsibility in the story. And the discussion got deep, yeah, quickly. We weren't just trying to agree, we were really trying to understand the different perspectives of the story. What do you think, Michelle?
Um, yeah, I do agree. I think that it was not easy. Especially when it came to debating about the self-serve or development. I think we couldn't really agree at first. But then Tessa, she suggested to run them equally, and then that opened up the conversation in a new way, and that kind of make us like connect as a group and share the same ideas and thoughts about it.
David, maybe you can share your perspective about that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I agree too. Now, I liked it that there was space. I liked that there was space, express opportunity that we were almost all thinking the same way about our personal rankings.
And at our final
April?
meeting
Yeah.
or conversation, we got a lot stronger with our communication and overall our work. And because of this, we didn't rush it. We took our time, we talked it over, and made sure that we were all on the same page. We took our time to listen, to ask questions, to build on each other's thinking and thoughts. We didn't just divide the work and turn it in and call it a day. We truly collaborated. That's what made our outcome meaningful and beautiful at the end.
I agree. I think this assignment reminded me and every one of us that leadership isn't about controlling the outcome, it's about guiding a process where everyone contributes and feels ownership. This is what matters for me, that everyone would feel ownership. And I knew that in this assignment we were a group, we were a team. That's functional group communication in action, and it made me really proud of what we accomplished together. To the week 5 lessons learned week. Let us share our one thing we learned about ourselves and one group communication concept we'll carry with us beyond this class. April?
I learned that I really thrive when everyone puts their expectations out there, what they want from me, so I can put in my input, my ideas, and really help navigate the group. It brought a lot of clarity when it brings out the best in me and in my work. Just overall making sure everyone's on the same time so everything comes out well. From now on, I will always be the first one to give my opinion, to put down the ground rules in the group early on when we need to do projects.
Okay. So yeah, sorry, I was muted. A few things actually, but I will discuss time boundaries. So I'm really weak in boundaries in general, okay? So time boundaries is a little easier. But time boundaries is what I think I will carry out a more deeper and meaningful understanding with, just because if I say something about, hey, I'm gonna be doing this, or I'm going to need you, like you said, April, like it needs you to help me, or need Annie to help me, or to kind of be very open with my communication, right? And not try to be shut out. Better to say it sooner than later. So time is of the essence in generalization of life. Protecting the energy and keeping things from going from way high to way fat, way low down there, and then changing the whole vibe of the whole group. I think I'm going to have to work 10 times harder on that, just because I already struggle with time management skills in general, and giving an expectation, accountability is what I really want to, express to a group that I work with, especially because the groups that I'm going to be working with are youth. So I'm going to have to be very patient with them and try not to really input so much of what I want into their lives and into what they want to do, but more to accentuate what they want to do. What is it that they think their value is? What is it that they think that they're good at? How would they want to put that into their own lives, right? Because I'm not living their life, they're not living mine. We have to, give our students, our youth, a more self-esteem oriented confidence, right? So we can't just say, hey, read this book and tell us what you thought. We have to kind of brainstorm with them to get an outcome. So if there's students who are having an argument or having a discussion, you can sit down and ask them separately, hey, what do you think happened? Tell me what you saw. And then sitting down with the other student, the other child, and asking, what do you think and what did you see? So how does that change what your overall impression of the situation was, right? So it's kind of like digging deep, but not digging deep so that you're putting your advice in there, but kind of letting them see the generalizations of good and bad. So I'm definitely gonna have to be putting a timer on for my counseling sessions with these children, because going on and on and on about something can be minutes, hours, and then they only get one thing that was discussed in like 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's really just about time keeping with them and making sure that, hey, did you understand what I said though? I'm not going to continue my conversation unless there's like some, confirmation that you get it, some confirmation. I'm not attacking you, and et cetera, et cetera. What is it that you got from me helping you? And so that is what I think I will be carrying forward in my future career, working with students and youth in mental health.
Well, in my perspective, I learned that it's important to slow down and don't rush like doing the things right away. I think that sometimes I get like too excited. I want to get the things and I do them fast. But I realize that it really helps me to stop and like listen first. When I let other people share their ideas and make a space to them, like so they can like talk and express about their opinions, their thoughts. And I think that our team works better and everyone feels included. I want to get better at this, and I want to get better at listening and letting other people talk before I do it and slowing down.
Speaking up takes courage, but it's worth it. Being heard builds confidence.
Thank you everyone for sharing. And from my side, I would say that I discovered that the true leadership isn't about knowing everything. It's about listening deeply, adapting when needed, and creating space where people feel safe and valued. That's the kind of leader I want to keep becoming, I think. Yeah, and
Oh,
finally, thing, yeah.
Yes, sorry, my meeting, so bad. Okay, so as we all reflect on our journey, we saw how different leaderships, like you had suggested, showed up. Every one of us has something to bring to anything that we are involved in, right? So communication is the main strength to work on if that seems to not be such a confident booster for some. Being able to wake up in the morning and maybe even make like a video of yourself talking about I don't know how you want to plan your day, like a virtual notebook or a notepad or something to kind of be like, oh, okay, I'm going to remind myself to do this. I'm going to remind myself to do that. That's one thing that I think is going to be beneficial for people to thrive, and in turn, if you thrive, the society thrives, changes thrive, right? So these lessons go beyond the classroom. When we say goodbye for this beautiful summer session, fun summer session that we had, doing all these things, meeting all the teams, families, and getting to know their personalities that they bring. It's a fun thing. But it's really about really focusing on the main outcome, right, of what is necessary in an assignment or in whatever your goals are trying to accomplish in a group. Building teams is not for the weak. Building teams can be for everybody, and strengthening themselves with confidence and being able to take suggestions, right, is really what we gotta also put in perspective. So if someone says something, they gotta take it with hey, it's just constructive criticism to construct your life that you want in the future, right? So not taking things too personally is something that I will definitely have to myself work on as well. So everyday life is an everyday teacher.
Thank you, Tessa. I thought that was beautiful, and I agree with everything you said. Now I would like to say thank you for joining us and listening to our story. The Pine Tree Group started as strangers, but now we have become a real and beautiful and unique team, stronger each week by communicating and overcoming our challenges, and also caring for one another when we had other stuff to do besides school.
Stay, stay rooted, stay strong, and communicate with care.
This was a group talk behind the mic with the Pine Tree Group. We are so proud of what we have built.
Thanks for watching and listening our story. Real communication begins with empathy, respect, and leadership that lifts everyone. And one last thing I have to say, we truly had the greatest team. Kudos to us. Yeah, we did it.
Kudos to us, girl. Woo!
We did it. Bye.
Bye.
Embrace. I'm thankful though I know it's ending all too soon. And thanks for unforgettable nights I never can replay, and memories that linger like a haunting tune. It is better to have loved you, dear, and lost, and never to have loved at all. Yes, it's better, for no matter what the cost, I held the world in sway, I never for a day. And thanks again